What if I told you your entire life, your thoughts, your emotions, your patterns, even your so-called luck isn't random? It's been governed, not by governments, not by gods, but by law. Laws so ancient, so precise, so embedded in the very structure of reality that you follow them every day without even knowing they exist. These aren't man-made laws. They aren't rules you can break. They are principles, unchanging, cosmic, absolute, and they were hidden in plain sight. In a book most people have never heard of. A book written by unknown hands under the name of 3 initiates. A book called the Kybalion. What's inside it isn't just philosophy, it's a manual. A guide to how reality actually works, beneath the surface, beyond the senses. These laws have been used for centuries by sages, mystics, occultists, and yes, even those in power, to shape outcomes, to bend perception, to manifest exactly what they desire. And the truth is, you've been using these laws too, but unconsciously. What happens when you start using them on purpose? Because if you've ever asked, why do I keep attracting the same problems? Why does life feel like it's happening to me? Why do some people seem to move through the world like it's built for them? Then it's time to wake up. Because the Kybalion hides the laws that control your reality. And once you understand them, everything changes. The Kybalion begins with one line that changes everything. The all is mind. The universe is mental. What does that mean? It means that reality is not made of matter first. It's made of consciousness. The same way a dream is shaped by the dreamer's mind, this life, your life, is shaped by something far deeper than what you see, touch, or hear. Everything begins in the unseen. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your expectations, your fears. These are not passive. They are creative forces, shaping your relationships, your health, your opportunities, your reality. Let that sink in, because you've been taught that the world is solid and you are small. That reality is out there, and you are just reacting to it. But mentalism flips that upside down. It says, you're not reacting to life, you're projecting it. If your internal world is chaotic, your external world will reflect that chaos. If your inner dialogue is filled with scarcity, doubt, and fear, life will mirror that energy back to you, again and again. Have you noticed the patterns? You fix one thing, and another breaks. You change jobs, but the same problems follow. You leave one relationship and find yourself in a new one with the same wounds. That's not coincidence. That's mentalism in motion. And here's the key. The moment you shift your mind, you begin to shift everything. This doesn't mean you're at fault for what happens to you. It means you are far more powerful than you've been told. Your thoughts are not just echoes. They are blueprints, vibrational instructions being received by the universe every second. And this isn't just ancient philosophy. Modern science is catching up, showing how observation affects outcome, how intention shapes results, how belief creates biology. But the Kybalion knew this long ago. When it says the all is mind, it's not giving you a metaphor. It's giving you the source code. Your mind is not trapped inside your brain. Your mind is part of the greater field of consciousness, the all. And the more you align your thoughts with truth, harmony, and purpose, the more the universe bends toward your vibration. So ask yourself now, honestly, what am I mentally rehearsing every day? What stories am I looping in my head? What future am I accidentally programming by what I think and feel? Because mentalism says this: if you want to change the world around you, you must begin with the world within you. You've seen the phrase, etched into stone, spoken in mystery schools, recycled in spiritual circles and mystical texts. As above, so below. As within, so without. But what does it actually mean? At its core, the law of correspondence tells us this. Everything is connected. The micro reflects the macro. The outer reflects the inner. What happens in one plane of existence, mental, emotional, spiritual, echoes into the others. The stars in the sky mirror the circuits of your brain. The rivers of the earth reflect the channels of your nervous system. The chaos in your life reflects the noise in your mind. The clarity in your soul reflects in the path before you. This is not poetry, it's precision. And it's why transformation doesn't begin by fixing the external. It begins by decoding the internal. Let's make this personal. Have you ever tried to fix your circumstances, change your job, leave a relationship, move to a new place, only to find the same challenges waiting for you? That's not bad luck. That's correspondence, because you can't outrun what you carry inside. Not because you're cursed, but because the universe loves you enough to keep showing you what needs to be seen. Every outer conflict is a mirror. Every relationship a reflection. Every breakthrough a sign of what's shifting inside. When you heal within, life rearranges itself to meet that vibration. When you feel unworthy inside, you attract people, experiences, and patterns that validate that belief. Over and over. Until you don't. Until you say, I will change what's happening in me so that what's around me can finally shift. This law also works upward. As above, so below. The stars, the planets, the divine realms. They are not distant mythologies. They're templates. What happens in the higher dimensions shapes what happens here. And what happens here creates waves back upward. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are a fractal of it, a living mirror of universal law, playing out on the physical stage. And the more you come into alignment with that truth, the more you begin to live from the center of it all, not reacting to the world, but resonating with it. So the question becomes, what am I seeing around me that is trying to show me something within me? And what within me needs to shift so the reflection can finally change? Because once you understand this law, nothing is random. Everything becomes a message, every challenge a mirror, every moment sacred. You've felt it, that vibe, that shift, that pull toward some people, and the instant resistance toward others. You walk into a room and sense something's off. You meet someone and feel an unspoken connection. You hear a song and feel lifted or pulled down. Why? Because everything is vibrating. The Kybalion says it simply, but powerfully, nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. What does that mean for you? It means you are not a solid being moving through a solid world. You are vibration in motion, living in a reality made of waves, frequency, and resonance. Your thoughts have frequency. Your emotions pulse. Your words carry energy. Your presence, your field, is always broadcasting something. And the universe, it responds not to your wishes, but to your vibration. Let that sink in. You don't attract what you say you want. You attract what you are. This is why people can say all the affirmations in the world and nothing changes. Because underneath those words is fear, or doubt, or contradiction. The universe doesn't respond to the surface. It responds to frequency. Your relationships, your finances, your health, your mood, all reflect the dominant vibrations you're holding right now. This doesn't mean you have to be happy all the time. It means you need to become aware of what you're carrying. Because you can't fake vibration. And you don't need to. You just need to align. You don't have to force your life into place. You have to tune your being, like a radio, to the signal of the life you want to live. Raise your frequency, and life starts responding differently. Why? Because what you used to attract, low-level drama, repeating patterns, inner war, can't stick to you anymore. It no longer resonates. You've changed the station, and the world around you will have no choice but to match it. So ask yourself, what am I vibrating right now? And what kind of life is that frequency pulling toward me? Because once you realize vibration is everything, you stop chasing and you start tuning. We live in a world of contrast, light and dark, joy and sorrow, success and failure, expansion and contraction, peace and chaos. But what if these weren't opposites in conflict? What if they were two sides of the same force? The Kybalion reveals, everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. This is the law of polarity. And once you understand it, suffering transforms into wisdom. It means that every bad experience you've had carries within it the seed of its opposite. Every heartbreak contains the code for deeper love. Every failure holds the momentum for your next breakthrough. Every shadow, when turned toward the light, reveals a gift. You can't experience joy without understanding pain. You can't recognize truth until you've wandered through illusion. And the key isn't to reject one pole and chase the other. It's to find your power in the center. Because the moment you realize your pain isn't permanent, that it's simply the lowest expression of a higher truth, you begin to shift. From despair to healing, from confusion to clarity, from powerlessness to purpose. Let's make it personal. When you feel lost, remember that feeling is only 1 degree removed from being found. When you feel weak, you're only a few degrees away from strength. When everything feels like it's falling apart, you may be on the edge of your greatest reassembly. Polarity teaches us nothing is static. Everything is in motion between extremes. And your job is not to deny either side, but to become conscious of where you are on the scale and choose to rise because you can. Your emotions are not chains, they're compasses, and your awareness, that's what moves the needle. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, stuck, consumed by one side of the spectrum, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what is the other side of this? And how can I move toward it, one conscious thought at a time? Because when you master polarity, you no longer get thrown around by life. You start to steer it. Life has a pulse, a rhythm, a wave, and you've felt it. The highs, the lows, the momentum, the setbacks, the clarity, then the fog, the rising, then the falling. It's not failure, it's rhythm. The Kybalion says everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. This is the law of rhythm, and it teaches us that everything moves in cycles. The moon, the tides, the breath in your lungs, your emotions, even your thoughts. There is no permanent high, and no eternal low. When you're up, you don't cling. When you're down, you don't despair, because now, you know, the wave will rise again. This law has one mission: balance. It swings left and right to keep you centered, not to punish you, but to polish you. But here's where the power lives. You don't have to be at the mercy of the swing. The more conscious you are, the more centered you stay. When chaos hits, you don't collapse. You hold. You ride the dip knowing the rise is already in motion. You become like the pendulum's still point, aware of the swing, but no longer ruled by it. Think about your own life. Have you ever had a breakthrough, only to feel doubt creep back in? Felt deeply connected, then suddenly alone? That's not you doing something wrong. That's rhythm. And when you resist it, when you panic, you tighten the swing. But when you trust it, you rise and fall with grace. You stop labeling the lows as failure. You start recognizing them as the inhale before the next surge forward. The ancients knew, to master rhythm is to master peace. So the next time you feel the dip, the silence, the stillness, the setback, don't fight it. Ask instead, what is this preparing me for? What wisdom lives in this pause? What energy is returning to me right now, through the swing? Because when you understand rhythm, you stop fearing the dark, you stop forcing the light, and you start moving with life instead of against it. How much of your life has felt out of your hands? Wrong place, wrong time, sudden setbacks, unexplainable patterns, moments that feel like pure chaos or blind luck. But the Kybalion cuts through that illusion with one sentence. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Nothing happens by chance. This is the law of cause and effect, and it changes everything, because it means your life is not random. You are not cursed. You are not being punished or forgotten. You are living in a world of precise, intelligent consequence, a web of energy, thought, action, intention, and vibration. And it's all connected. Every thought you think, every choice you make, every belief you hold, it all sends a signal, and that signal creates ripples. Ripples that return to you, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but always with accuracy. That's not karma in a mystical sense. That's cause and effect in a spiritual system. So the real question is not, why is this happening to me? It's, what energy did I set in motion, consciously or unconsciously, that led me here? And more importantly, what am I choosing to set in motion now? This law isn't here to shame you. It's here to empower you. Because when you realize that everything you do holds weight, you start living on purpose. You stop giving your power away to circumstance. You stop blaming your past. You stop waiting for luck, for signs, for someone else to decide your fate. Instead, you say, if I can cause chaos with my fear, then I can cause miracles with my awareness. This is where the power lies. You're not just here to experience life. You're here to shape it. So ask yourself now, what am I creating today? What am I planting with my thoughts, words, actions, and emotions that my future self will have to harvest? Because the law doesn't sleep. It doesn't skip. It doesn't forget. It waits. It returns. And it always delivers what you've ordered, energetically, intentionally, spiritually. So make sure what you're asking for is what your soul truly wants. How much of your life has felt out of your hands? Wrong place, wrong time, sudden setbacks, unexplainable patterns, moments that feel like pure chaos or blind luck. But the Kybalion cuts through that illusion with one sentence. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Nothing happens by chance. This is the law of cause and effect, and it changes everything, because it means your life is not random. You are not cursed. You are not being punished or forgotten. You are living in a world of precise, intelligent consequence, a web of energy, thought, action, intention, and vibration. And it's all connected. Every thought you think, every choice you make, every belief you hold, it all sends a signal, and that signal creates ripples. Ripples that return to you, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but always with accuracy. That's not karma in a mystical sense. That's cause and effect in a spiritual system. So the real question is not, why is this happening to me? It's, what energy did I set in motion, consciously or unconsciously, that led me here? And more importantly, what am I choosing to set in motion now? This law isn't here to shame you. It's here to empower you. Because when you realize that everything you do holds weight, you start living on purpose. You stop giving your power away to circumstance. You stop blaming your past. You stop waiting for luck, for signs, for someone else to decide your fate. Instead, you say, if I can cause chaos with my fear, then I can cause miracles with my awareness. This is where the power lies. You're not just here to experience life. You're here to shape it. So ask yourself now, what am I creating today? What am I planting with my thoughts, words, actions, and emotions that my future self will have to harvest? Because the law doesn't sleep. It doesn't skip. It doesn't forget. It waits. It returns. And it always delivers what you've ordered, energetically, intentionally, spiritually. So make sure what you're asking for is what your soul truly wants.